Bro, the whole problem with agencies is that they only solve for one point of the problem. They only solve for one thing. If you got an ads agency, well, the ads agency is solving for let's make better ads to get more leads, right? Any kind of advertising agency is essentially demand generation. Any kind of ads agency is lead generation, unless you're doing awareness campaigns and all that gay stuff, right? That being said, is like, okay, like if you have an ads agency, let's take a New York Fifth Avenue ads agency. They're doing a campaign for Gucci and they're putting up a billboard. Well, the billboard is not about making sales. It's about raising awareness. So that's at the fucking top of the funnel, right? That's just like, let's make more people aware that Gucci has a new campaign, right? Let's put it in front of people just so in the future they know there's something in their mind that is opening them up to whatever the fucking brand is, whatever the company is. So that's step one. When you're running an advertising agency specifically for social media, or you're running a marketing agency for social media, well, your marketing agency is going to solve problems still at the top end of the customer acquisition, okay? Before the customer buys, understand? So if you have, let's say, give me an example. Let's say ads for, I don't want to use roofers, but fuck it, we'll use roofers. If you have ads for roofers that are, like if you're doing advertising for roofers, well, okay, it's under the premise that you're going to get them leads. The solar stuff is under the premise that you're going to get them leads. You're going to generate them business, okay? That is essentially, even though that's lead generation, it still falls under advertising, still falls under demand gen, right? Level one is awareness. How do we make people aware about the product? And then also, how do we do demand gen, right? There's a lot of big companies that get paid a lot of money for awareness campaigns like, you know, the Gucci's and all those of the world, but we're not operating that market. We're not big enough. We don't have the experience, right? You know, in your case particularly, I mean, I could probably have a conversation and do that. But in your case, what you want to focus on is like, okay, like this is demand generation. So then how do we effectively generate demand? Cool. If you can generate demand and make ads and make creatives that resonate with customers psychologically, and you bring them down this sales process and they fill out their information, well, your job as the agency is done. You generated the demand. You brought in the lead, right? So your mission at the end there is you bring in the lead, right? And then they're going to start always, oh, the cost of leads are too high. Can we get the cost of leads down? Right? They're always going to say that. What ends up happening is they're saying, okay, well, can we get the cost of leads? Because they're not, there's the problem there. They're probably either not closing them enough, or there's an issue with their sales process and the leads are unqualified, right? Then you end up getting fired because they're like, oh, well, the cost of leads were too high and we didn't see a return on our investment from the ads. Because they're thinking about leads. They're thinking about how many leads did we bring in? But the real issue for the company is that there's an issue on their fucking sales side. You see what I'm getting at here? I know this is a lot of information, but you see what I'm getting at. So there's an issue on the sales side. So if you have a company, let's say they're doing 5 million, let's say they're doing, they get 100 leads a month, right? And they're closing 10 leads a month at 15 grand, okay? They're making 150,000 a month, right? If you can figure out, okay, well, what is their sales process on the back? This is why a lot of agencies, they fail, they get fired, because they don't focus on the full stack approach of like actually knowing exactly what they're doing. If there's an issue on the sales side, okay, how many times are the people getting followed up on? Is there any repeat business to do? Is there a drop off when the lead comes in? What's the speed to contact, right? What are the things going on the actual business side that are happening that you're not necessarily responsible for, but could make your job more valuable and also could make you more money and could also increase your retention and the perception of what the client thinks of you? You see what I'm getting at here, right? If they were looking at that, would they need a third-party agency to come in and do it for them? Okay, exactly. Roland, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Your answer is no. They're not looking at that. Because the truth of the matter is when you're running a business like that, you don't know up from down. You're trying to manage a million different things, right? You have to have some, because also people think that, oh, just because this thing is happening, or they have clients or leads coming into the business, they're like, okay, well, we're going to spend more on marketing, but they don't think about how can we improve our sales process. They don't track the numbers, right? What's the speed to contact? How are they having the conversations? How are they having the sales conversations? It's like, bro, there's people who are killer media buyers, killer marketers, and they'll work with clients, dude, and the clients, the issue is something that is not fixable on their end, right? And so you have to take the approach of like also looking at the business holistically. And this is part of your pitch. This is part of the competitive advantage that you're going to have, right? Especially for you getting inside the program. Is like, you got to look at the entire business. Even though you're solving for one problem, which is like, hey, we're going to make better ads, right? Or if you want to do that, we're going to make ads that generate demand. You're solving one part of the problem. But the entire business, like you can solve one point in the business, but then there's all these other breakpoints. So if you fix something that was broken or that wasn't fully working, then something else breaks. And then what's going to happen is something else breaks. And then you fix that. And it's a system of just fixing all the things that are currently breaking in the business or can be improved. You get me?
Yeah. So like,
Okay.
it's essentially like almost like the waterfall approach, but you're just creating more value as yourself as the agency instead of just, hey, I come in and I'm solving ads for you, then boom, bada bing, bada boom, that's it. But you're creating more value.
Not necessarily like the waterfall approach. That's for creating products and building products. It is the KPI scorecard, right? The quantitative tracking. So the same way that you're going to track your own stuff in your own business is the same way that you're going to quantitatively and qualitatively track everything else that is going on in the client's business. So like if their sales team is making 1,000 calls and they're getting beat on the phones, we got to figure out, okay, well, what's the sales script? What are they saying? Right? And even though you might be an advertising agency, right? But this is other stuff you can bill for. This is other stuff you can change because you can change a lot about a business, actually how it internally operates when you start working with the business. You're like, look, this stuff isn't going to perform as well as it could unless you fix this, and this, right? You get me?
Yeah.
Cool.
Now as far as like a complete beginner like me, right? Like, you have years of experience in this and like you said, email marketing, 3 or 4 years ago, yeah, sure, that was the big kind of thing. Mm-hmm. What would you recommend for a complete beginner with like no prior business experience and everything going through your program when you complete your program?
That's a good question. So I'll explain. Like email a few years ago, I got into email because it was just a blue ocean for me. It was super easy for me to compete in that market when I did because no one was doing it, right? Then it kind of caught fire and it became this big thing, right? It was completely biz-opt. So the thing is now you're competing with people that have years and years and years in the game, and everyone and their mother has been pitched on this. Like every single one of these people has, if they own an e-com brand, their information has been scraped, and from a software like BuiltWith or like one of these other softwares, their information's been scraped, and they've been pitched using the same cold email lines and the same systems. And the only people that seriously made money were the people who were either selling info on how to do email marketing and the people who were selling info on how to do cold email outreach systems, which are pretty shit, not gonna lie, and the people who owned the software platforms to do that for the BizOp. You understand?
Yeah.
Fundamentals, the reason I teach fundamentals and why the program is all fundamentals is because it teaches you how to think about business and how to operate in the business. You could literally pick, I don't recommend it, but you could pick like an email marketing or something like that. But the level of competition is super high, and there's been so many bullshit agencies, and I don't know where they're coming from because they're certainly not coming from me, but there's been so many bullshit agencies that have come through, and they're just burning customers or burning clients, and then people are like, they're very gun shy, right? So you have to focus on how do we build something that is going to work, that is not completely new, right? You're a smart guy. You can figure out, okay, well, I see that there's a number. If this number is lower than the other number, and once you get the hang of it, it's really fucking brain dead. But it's like when you look at it, okay, this number is lower than the other number. Therefore, we have to increase the low number. You get me?
Yes.
So that's consulting in a nutshell, right? On the other side, the entire on the business side, it's like you could pick advertising. I mean, advertising's fairly easy, right? Once you understand the psychology of it, the only thing with advertising is client acquisition and then actually making creatives that convert. And the only way you're going to really know if the creative converts or not is if you spend money. So you're not even going to know if you're going to be great at advertising until you go out and you make some money and you get a client.
Gotcha.
Right? So the beautiful thing about it is you could start selling a system. You could start like the AI system or whatever that we sell, right? Like you could sell a system, you could sell this, or you could combine things. Right now, we're combining things. So, you can really, you can get creative, right? The thing about business is that a lot of things work, right? How many, corner stores do you see? Tons, right?
Yeah.
How many pet shops are there? How many hotels are there? How many apartment buildings are there? Right? So it all works, but the one hotel, let's take a hotel, a really expensive hotel. There's a hotel in the south of France that all the celebrities stay at. And it's like $5,000 a night or $10,000 a night for like a basic room. Now, what is the difference between that hotel and the cheap motel on the corner? Well, aren't they the same business? Yes, essentially.
Yes. Status.
The status, the prestige, the location. There's things that make it different, right? So you have to think about your business as the same exact way, right? You have to make it different. How do you make it different? Well, you make the offer really sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You make the offer really, really, really sexy, right? And a lot of the time you have to capitalize on what the industry trends are, right? You're always going to get the same objections. You're going to get, we worked with somebody in the past that didn't turn out right. Yeah, we did this, or we tried this, or like, yeah, we have a team doing that right now. And you got to understand that like these people who have worked with other people before, you're going to have to be able to overcome that. And the way that you overcome that is not by like sales tactics or objection handling per se. Like you're going to still need to be able to do that, but it comes from having a really sexy offer that is dumbed down and really easy to understand.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Like when I don't know if you saw the masterclass video that I did, but the mastermind video that I did, my keynote at the mastermind. But in that video, I explained, even if we're selling, if I'm selling advertising, right? I make it sound like I'm selling fucking turning water into gold or water into wine. Even though it might be the same thing, right? But you have to find a really creative way of getting there, right? And so I came into this interesting idea. I said, okay, well, how do we do the things that we do? Okay, well, what are my values, right? How do I do all the things that I do? Well, I said, okay, well, psychology. And I said, well, okay, we sat and we had a meeting. We said, how do we create these ads and how do we talk to these people and how have we just done everything over the past few years? Well, it's like, okay, well, we use psychology. So instead of saying we make ads, I said, well, we have a two-part approach. First off, we have to understand the consumer psychology, and all of the ads that we create become focused on speaking to the customers who actually are interested based on a psychographic and psychological level. So even though we're still doing the same thing, I found a more creative way of getting there, which, if you ever seen the show Mad Men.
I was just going to say the Don Draper method.
When the Don Draper method in the first episode, when he says, no, it's everyone else is toxic. Yours is toasted. It's the same principle, bro. It is legitimately the same principle. But when we look at specifically advertising, okay, well, no, we use a psychological driven approach. It's rooted in we don't have the same approach as everyone else. Ours is focused on consumer psychology and psychology as a whole. Okay?
Yeah.
And you can extrapolate that idea, right? You can extrapolate that idea so many different ways. But the whole premise of it is how do you if you're going to be in marketing, I want you to truly understand this because this is very powerful what I'm about to say. If you're going to be in marketing, you need to be in marketing. And I'm not talking about this is our 3-step, I help coaches and consultants do da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Bullshit. Okay? You need to make your stuff sound good. You need an angle, right? Because the way that you compete in business is you have an angle. The angle of, let's say, a Hotel du Cap Eden Rock, which is the one I'm talking about. It's 5-10 grand a night. It's in the south of France. It's in Saint-Tropez or Cannes or something. Their angle is that it's the best of the best, right? And with the visual story, they tell visual stories, and with the visual storytelling that they have, and also the paparazzi and everything, and all of the press that has been created around this hotel. Well, okay, they're like, oh no, they see a picture, they're like, I want to have my wedding there, and they spend 100 grand on a wedding or 200 grand on a wedding. Nobody's having weddings unless they're crackheads down at the Motel 6, right? So marketing is all about is about engineering your presence into the stories that people tell themselves.
Exactly.
Okay.
And now as far as like say like for a new beginner, now making a marketing advertising agency. Now now I'm I guess looking for your course right now, and like where would you actually learn the softwares and the ways to create systems and everything to learn that to where you could pitch it or build it all into an offer and then pitch it to businesses.
Have you checked out the software, the synthesis software yet? If you wanted to set up everything and click a few buttons, it's already there. Like, I want you to understand, bro, the systems are like the easy part of everything. Like doing, the creative and the hooks for clients is like the hardest part. But more importantly, doing the creative for yourself is the hardest part of the entire thing. Focusing on like what you're going to sell. You can sell everything, right? But what I would recommend is like advertising is hard because it's a higher barrier to entry. There's a few more things to learn, right? And like I said, that stuff I'll send over to you when it's fully uploaded. But like, setting up the ad accounts, thinking about advertising, all that stuff. The thing is, bro, is when you have to just figure out how to make it sound sexy. You can use mine, what I told you on this call, and what I said in the mastermind video. Like you can use that bar for bar, basically, if you want, right? All you have to do is break it down to the person how it's going to make them money. If X, then Y. If we get this, if this performs at this, which is below industry standard, which I don't think we're going to perform at, I think we're going to perform above, then you'll make X, which will add X to your revenue, which will add Y to your profit margin, right? So for you, like, how do I explain it? It's like there's so many lucrative industries.
Yeah, so
just don't do real estate agents. Don't do real estate agents.
No, I got you.
Let's think.
Okay, one quick question. So, say like I know a couple buddies in life insurance sales, right? And I know life insurance agents, they're always looking for good leads and everything. So if you come as an agency, and I've seen it a couple times already before, it's like, we can bring you this many qualified leads per month, or increase your months to $20,000 a month.
Yeah.
Whatever the hook your agency is pitching. Is that an example of like a lead generation
100%.
agency or like marketing agency?
Both. Lead generation is advertising.
Okay, it's the same thing, just different words.
Yeah, unless you're doing what's called cold email lead generation for a client or for a customer, it's all advertising, right? But the thing is like, dude, okay, if you got buddies that are in life insurance, right? Here's what I would do. There was a guy who he was crushing that guy, Clark Davis or Davis Clark, whatever his name was. He was like, yo, I'm locked in, man. Like he was in Boston, right? Okay. That guy had so much fucking traffic, bro. If he was a life insurance guy, he would have made millions of dollars in like a 3-month span if he capitalized on that traffic. And he would have crushed, because he had this traffic, right? And it was like talking about building wealth and investing in yourself and everything, right? But life insurance, I mean, I don't know if you know about whole life policies, but you can basically buy into a whole life policy. I used to sell this. So you can buy into a whole life policy. I haven't sold it since I was 21 years old, and it's been almost a decade now. But you can buy into a whole life policy, and the whole life policy is essentially something that you can borrow against, right? You can borrow against, and it's like a cash value life insurance policy. And there's people that use it as an investment vehicle.
Yeah,
right.
I tried life insurance for 7 months when I quit my old job on the tugs, and it kind of took a leap of faith, and I did it for 7 months.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so but here's the thing: is like there's guys who are doing. I made a video about this actually. It's on YouTube, but there's a guy who think about it like this: you could work with an individual guy, or you could work with the company. Now, I would, if I was thinking about, there's a million things that I could settle life insurance, right? Because most life insurance guys are running off of a spreadsheet still, and a brick phone. So, and they're hitting up their natural market, right? So, what I would do is like as a marketer, I would frame the life insurance thing. If I was working with one guy as a client who wants more leads, right? Now, an individual agent who needs more leads, well, I hope their practice is okay, right? I hope they're actually making money, because if you're an agent that needs leads and they're cold leads, you're beating your head against the phone. You're beating your head on the fucking desk. You know what I mean? You've been there. I've been there.
Oh yeah.
So that being said, I would if I was a life insurance guy, I'd be like, okay, I would create advertising content if I needed leads fast. So I would do two things. You could operate and be like, look, I will help you make content to get leads for life insurance. That's one thing. That's way more difficult. The easier route is like, look, yo, we're going to shoot these fucking ads. We're going to spend this fucking budget on it. And it's going to be investing advice and everything like that. And then the people, like, we're going to put together a lead magnet with with an investing guide or something. And in the lead magnet, it's a training video of how to invest in yourself using life insurance and using a whole life policy. And then when they put their name, email, phone number in to get the investing guide, I'm going to call the insurance agent, calls in directly and sells them on a fucking policy.
Gotcha. So it's just
you see that, right?
Yeah, you're wrapping it together. Then yeah.
So what I did was I'm a marketer, bro. I framed this investing thing, right? So now I'm selling to the personal finance crowd. People are problem aware, right? If I call somebody and I say, yo, you want life insurance? They're going to say, go fuck yourself, right?
Oh yeah.
So if I'm calling the guy, Joe Schmo at work who's making $50,000 a year, and it's like, and you call him up trying to sell him life insurance, like, bro, you're going to get beat. But if you call people that are interested in investing in themselves and personal finance and everything like that, and then you bring it up, be like, look, like this is a life insurance policy. Everyone does need life insurance in some way, and you can tie it into a personal story or something like that. But like these, the clients, if you can run this playbook, right? Because the thing is most insurance salesmen are also financial advisors or fiduciaries.
Yes.
Right? So you figure out how to package together. No one wants to buy insurance, but everyone wants to invest their money. What do you say? People say, what are you going to do once you stop working? How do you plan to stop working? What's the number one thing they say?
I'm blank here. How do you plan to stop working? Like, stocks, like investments.
Yep. I'm going to invest. Well, what are you going to invest in? I don't know. The stock market?
Tax-free retirement incomes, yeah,
The stock market? Real estate? Really, real estate and stock market. Well, here's the thing. With the stock market, you need hundreds of thousands of dollars to really see a return that you and your family can live off of. With real estate, you need hundreds of thousands of dollars, so you got to go get a loan from the bank, right? If there was an easier option that allowed you to invest earlier that was going to compound over time that wasn't a retirement account, would you be open to that idea? Boom. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if you build out this system, this is like, that's a business, bro.
It's starting to make sense now. I got you.
You see?
Just by marketing and advertising, just the way you not twist it around, but the way you just change how it's presented, that is the sauce in itself.
What's the difference between Diet Coke and Coke Zero?
Yeah, I don't fucking know.
Me
Like,
either,
you know,
bro. All I know is that Diet Coke tastes a little better. And it's in a gray can. I'm drinking one right now. What's the difference, bro? I don't fucking know. I'm not reading the ingredients. But you get the point, right? They cost exactly the same.
Yeah.
What's the difference between the Colgate toothpaste and the Crest toothpaste?
Both 9 out of 10
one knows.
recommended.
Yeah, exactly. 9 out of 10 doctors recommend, right? The way it's presented. Whatever's more expensive usually is presented. Bro, I have on my desk right here, I have $1,000 Cartier pen. And I also have a $3, $2 pen, right? A gel pen. And I'm not gonna lie, bro. The gel pen, I think, writes better than the fucking $1,000 Cartier pen. But the Cartier pen is gold plated.
Yeah, symbol status.
You get me. You get me.
Asset, yeah.
So you have to this marketing system is like you have to start to think like a marketer, right? I hope this call was useful for you. But like, bro, like this is like so you just chose an industry, right? You're like, I have some buddies in the insurance industry, right? Now you have something that you can run with in the insurance industry, right? So they have two ways. They have personal brand or content, or you have you make the same content that they were going to make for the personal brand, except you just run fucking paid ads to it and get leads.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If I was an insurance agent today, I would literally just be making fucking YouTube videos talking about how to invest and talking about investment tips. I would have a finance YouTube channel. I would literally I would have a negative cost per acquisition because YouTube would be paying me as a partner. Understand? So I'd be making money off the ads. I'd be doing fucking content on social media. I'd be doing it on Instagram. I'd be doing it on TikTok and fucking YouTube. And I'd be doing shorts, right? And I would have a little podcast set up in my fucking cubicle in my office, right? Or in the corner or wherever I was working from. And it would look like I'm giving an interview on the couch talking about, yeah, well, the way you should invest is this. And the hook would be financial advisor tells the truth about investing. And I would just run that. And then whatever video performed well, like it's not going to get many views, but whatever video performs well, if it's the guy on his way to work at the office, right? And he starts filming yap sessions and he's like, yeah, well, so like we're doing this, I have a client that did this, and this, right? If you want to become a client or you're interested in what I can do for you, click the link, whatever, right? Call to action. The same thing with paid advertising, the same thing works. And then I would have longer form YouTube videos that explain the best retirement accounts. And then what I would do is I would set up as the agency, if I'm you, I would be like, okay, well, cool. So we have this lead system. You can use the software. You have this lead system, and then you build out the drip sequence for the emails. And then the emails are like, hey, thanks for getting some information. Watch this video next. And then every fucking day, every 2 days, I'm sending them valuable emails that have already been pre-written that you can use from ChatGPT for. And I'm sending them valuable emails, and then eventually, when I get around to it, if you have too much business, I call them on the phone, I get the lead, and I see if there's potential we can do business together.
I got you.
If you install that system into insurance agents' businesses and you charge a few grand, you'll be fine.
That's the plan, man. Because yeah.
Does that give you like clarity? Is that something that you think you want to do?
Yeah, for sure. It's just, of course, all right now, taking it all in is kind of like, not like a lot at once, but it's just like, okay, I have a big baseline to fill, so to say, that never done it before.
Well, I'm also just using what you told me, and I'm just using my brain here, right? Mm-hmm. This is also like, dude, like this is like market condition stuff, right? I'd be like, look, I'd be like, yo, like, look, we got an AI follow-up system. We do this, and this, and then you on the consulting side, then you start tracking. Okay, how many leads came through? What are the numbers, right? How many leads came through? How many people did you actually pitch? How many did you get them to a document, right? Health insurance. How many times did the doctor go to their house and take blood, right? Because buying that is a process, right? So the whole thing that I'm telling you here is simply put, it's like once you get the top end, the top of funnel figured out, the middle of funnel, and then the bottom of funnel, they become a customer before the nurse comes to their house to go take blood. If you're sending them stuff, right? Or you have a text message saying, hey, look, watch this before just so you know what to do. And then, every video is just a sales message, or it's like value and then sales message. It's like a valuable message. It's like, hey, like whatever. and you have this stuff, you automate this stuff in the guy's business. You do it once, you can do it for the next guy, you can do it for the next guy, do it for the next guy, and then you can license the system out.
I got you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just about I have to learn that, because I have no clue or no prior experience on any of that. So it's just basically about learning how to create any ad stuff and systems and funnels. It's just that essentially.
Well, what I would do is I would look at all the objections that you got, right? Like why you weren't successful as an insurance agent, and I would figure out how can we use all these objections and make content that eliminate the objections, and then run it on paid traffic for whoever, your buddy or whatever.
Got you. So it's you yourself shoot the content?
No, they shoot the content, and then you fix it up for them. You make the creatives, right? That's part of the work, but you're probably going to want to hire somebody to do that for you once you start getting paid. Then you run a tiny ad budget, bro. You run $20 to $50 a day to a lead magnet, and then the guy calls them on the phone and he closes them.
I got you. I got you. Yeah, it's just the part now, just trying to learn that stuff, but essentially just get your feet wet and learn the softwares and stuff like that to do that, and then of course finish your course. Well,
you only need the one. You only need the one software, and then you might need CapCut for the editing, and that's free.
And that software is of course Synthesis, right? That's where most of the stuff is plugged.
That's where everything. That's where everything that we do is. What else?
That's crazy. So really, pretty much everything you really need to run an agency is in Synthesis.
That's what I would think about, man.
Oh, man, well, thank you for the.
If I was you, bro, you already have exposure. You already know that industry a little bit. You did it for 7 months. I think if you already have exposure to it, you already know the ins and outs. You know what works and what doesn't work, and you know that you can come in from a marketing side. The hardest part about the entire business is getting leads, is getting people interested. And this is the final thing I'll leave you with, Roland, is sales comes after the marketing.
Mm-hmm.
There is no sale without marketing on the front end. The best sales come from really great marketing. For me, right, if I had a girl come up to me at the bar or the club or something or wherever, and she's actively trying to be can I come home with you? Will you come in my house? Will you please get with me? You're going to be yo, hold up, what's going on here? I don't like this.
Yeah, that's something. What's the catch?
But if she's super hot and there's a little push and pull, and she's, it feels natural, even if she's really into you and it feels natural, bro, and you feel good about it, then the sale is already made. Right? There's no selling that needs to happen, right? So if you position, especially these agents, right? If you position, real estate agents are doing it all the time now. That guy Inez Yilmazer, he's making more money from YouTube than he ever was as an agent. But if you can help these guys position themselves as look, I'm gonna be the guy that gets your finances right and get your money right. Well then, here we go. Then you're in business. There's been guys that have done it on Twitter, accountants and lawyers and stuff like that have done it on Twitter. So there's certainly a market for it. There's certainly a space in the industry for it because I don't really see many people doing it. The only insurance guys that I see are the guys that are selling the biz op of selling insurance.
Yeah.
For you to go into this business and do this is if you know an industry, that's the first industry you start in. When I was doing loans, the reason why I knew all these different industries and I said, okay, well, I can do fucking anything was because, bro, one day I would sell to a guy who had, he manufactured hearing aids. I did a deal with the guy who owned UFO TV, who produced fucking UFO spaceship movies, right? You'd be talking to one guy owns a liquor store, one guy owns a medical manufacturing plant, the other guy makes fucking fences, all crazy shit. One guy runs a marketing agency. So the reason why is because I would sit there and I would ask all these customers and ask these clients that I had, okay, well, what are you doing in the business? And I would find out information on their business, obviously so that I could sell the deal, but so that I knew how the business worked so that I could sell to other businesses like them in the future. So when I got into marketing, well, the first business that I got into was the fashion business because I knew the fashion business because I was modeling in the fashion business. Mm-hmm. And I understood the business. I said, I like nice clothes. I like pretty girls. Okay, how can we sell some of this stuff? Then The things, and also the things that you'll do come from the things that you'll do. So when I got into the fashion business, I was like, okay, well, these guys don't make much money. Then we found a really interesting industry with luxury furniture, because furniture is expensive. I have a couch that costs 10 grand. I'm looking in my living room, right? Furniture is expensive. So how do we sell furniture? How do you sell a table, bro? How do you sell a table that's 5 grand versus an IKEA table that's $400 or $200?
You sell the story of what that table will bring.
What's it made from? Exactly. You sell the story. You don't sell the table, you sell the story. Therefore, so we figured out this secondary or complementary market, right? So real estate agents fucking suck. But insurance agents, well, I know that they get 50% commissions up front on a policy that's a year long. Right?
Oh, yeah.
You know that if they sell a $16,000 policy, they make 8 grand commission.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And whole life, you know, if they sell the whole life policies, you know that they don't get paid on advisory deals or financial advisory deals as a fiduciary that much, but they take their 2 points or they take their, 5 basis points or something like that. And then, but they're heavily incentivized to sell the other stuff or sell an annuity or something like that. So how do we sell that under the premise of like, this is a holistic package? That's what I would focus on, bro. Like, if you have experience in the market, you know how to sell to these people, you know how to talk to these people, you have previous connections, right? You build stuff out. Done. Money.
Man, that sounds like the way to go, man.
Well, I think, and the thing is even if you're not married to it, right? You're still gonna get experience doing that, and then you might switch to another industry. But the premise and the systems are still the same. The reason why I can do all the stuff that I do is because the fundamentals are still exactly the same, which is why the program teaches you the fundamentals, first and foremost. And that's how you get good at business. Being good at marketing is only one part of the battle, just as being good at running an agency that does advertising is only one part of the battle. You see?
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Well, sweet, my man. I appreciate you taking your time, more than 30 minutes out of your time to, talk about the game with me, man.
Hey, man. What do you think about the program so far?
Dude, definitely huge amounts of business fundamentals and man, I don't know why I'm tripping with my words right now. Very, very meticulous, and I like how it's laid out.
Appreciate that.
Because I think whatever video I just watched, I think it was creating enterprise value or business finance 101. As you said, your course is more kind of like the fundamentals of business, because with that, because a lot of other, I guess, courses, they're, it's almost like for retards. It's like, oh, here's how you do exactly everything. It's this. And it's basically just like an email freaking rebrand or stuff like that. So that's why you have a lot of shitty fucking agencies in a way. But I think you explain it a lot more in like the whole business side of it. And I guess just like what you said on this call, just with the fact that you could go on and talk about marketing, advertising, it takes a whole different spin on it.
Yeah.
And then that's where you see the true value of the business. That's what I was saying.
So try it. Like, the worst case scenario is you just, like, bro, like, you're going to shoot and you're going to miss, and then you adjust your aim. You shoot, miss, adjust your aim, and you just keep doing that until you start hitting shit.
Ready, fire, aim.
Exactly. That's all you do. That is the entire game. You just fix shit that doesn't work.
I got you. And dude, I got one more quick question. So when I was coming about buying a course, right?
Yeah.
I was choosing between yours and Ben Bader's, right? And of course, obviously, I went with you. I don't know. I've been following you for a little longer, and you seemed a lot more business oriented and everything.
Yeah.
And no shade on Ben.
Ben's a good guy, bro. He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, like I said, no shade on Ben. Love his videos and his content. He's good, but it's just, I don't know. You just kind of came across more professional, and like I felt like I could take your course and apply more business knowledge out of it. Do you know any kind of like the difference between your course and his, or you don't really? Or that's not really information to really, I guess, talk about.
Ben focuses on how to monetize info products. I don't know anything about his course. I've known him for years. I've known him for years, and he talks about how to monetize info products and creators. Okay, it's a publishing thing, basically, bro. If you have no marketing experience and you're a dead beginner, you're gonna fucking struggle with that. That's it. That's like learning. That's like being like, for me, it's like being a monkey trying to swim. When when all I know how to do is climb trees. If I was a beginner, essentially, or it's like a whale trying to climb a tree, right? When you have to go into something, you have to learn an entirely new skill set. You're always going to struggle harder than if you didn't have to learn an entirely new skill set, right? You said, yo, I got a few buddies in the insurance industry, which is why I changed the conversation to, okay, insurance, right? Here's the thing. You're not married to it, bro. All you got to do is figure out something that works, that makes you money, so that you can make money for yourself and your family. If you're running a marketing agency for insurance agents or something like that, well, you know how much money that they can make if they get a deal. So you are heavily incentivized to fucking crush it for them.
Yes,
Okay?
sir. Well, man, I'm definitely glad I listened to my gut, and
I appreciate you staying on this long, and I hope I was able to help.
absolutely, David, I appreciate your time, man.
I appreciate you, man. Take care. Okay?
Yes, sir. You too.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.